In a world where noise reigns and words seem to lose their meaning, important questions arise. How do we demonstrate our worth without speaking? How do we understand others' intentions? The answer lies beyond words, according to ancient Stoicism. The Stoics taught that courage was expressed in actions, not speeches. Have you ever wondered how the great Stoics managed to demonstrate their wisdom and strength without saying a single word? Believe it, it is possible to prove your worth through actions and attitudes. So, comment, I am my own example of worth. Do this, and I'll leave a heart on your comment, confirming that you are on the right path to becoming an admirable person. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now that you've commented and subscribed, let's proceed. Today, we will dive into Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that endures. It's not just about resilience or indifference, but about focusing on what really matters, especially in our relationships. Explore the techniques to master yourself and unleash your true potential with our Stoic guide. It will be your powerful tool against life's challenges. So let's begin this journey of self-improvement necessary for a life of excellence. First, present yourself with dignity. Before you start imagining a Stoic as a stern and unsmiling figure from antiquity, allow me to clear things up. Stoicism is not about repressing your emotions or being indifferent. It's about understanding what deserves your energy and what doesn't. The way you present yourself deserves your energy. So let's talk about what it means to present yourself with dignity in relationships. Sometimes we try so hard to impress someone that we end up losing ourselves in the process. Dressing a certain way, speaking a certain way, all to gain approval. And here is where our Stoic wisdom comes in. Your dignity doesn't lie in the clothes you wear or the places you go, but in how you conduct yourself in your actions and choices. Imagine this. You're in a coffee shop, and you see two people on a date. One is all flashy, trying to impress, while the other is comfortable in their own skin. Which one do you think will leave a lasting impression? The genuine one. That is the strength of presenting yourself with dignity. Stoics strive to live with integrity and self-respect. How this translates into our modern world is simple. If you are passionate about something, do your own, let it shine. It's not about pretending to be someone you are not. It's about feeling comfortable and secure in your own skin, knowing that you are worthy just as you are. And here's another thing, treat yourself with respect. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others will treat you. What are you telling the world? That it's okay to be treated in the same ridiculous and mediocre way, with people doing the bare minimum. But if you respect yourself, value your time, your energy, your emotions, you are sending a loud and clear message. I am worthy of respect and expect to be treated as such. In the context of relationships, it's not just about how you see yourself or what you say. It's about how you react and behave in different situations. Are you reacting with desperation or with dignity? Are you compromising your values just to fit in, or are you standing your ground even if it means being alone? It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. We are all human. We make mistakes. We have our awkward moments. But it's about how you handle those moments. Do you crumble under pressure, or do you keep your head held high and learn from it? But then, how can we start presenting ourselves with more dignity in our daily interactions? One way is to set clear and healthy boundaries in our relationships, communicating firmly but respectfully, and demonstrating what we are willing to accept and what we are not. This allows us to protect our emotional integrity and set a standard of mutual respect. Another way to present ourselves with dignity is to learn to say no to things that don't align with our values and priorities. This might mean turning down commitments or situations that make us uncomfortable or go against our principles. By doing this, we assert our right to live according to our convictions and show that we are true to ourselves. It might also mean treating others with a little more kindness and respect in our daily interactions, recognizing the humanity in each person we meet and showing empathy for their experiences and feelings. This allows us to build more authentic and meaningful relationships. When we start to recognize and value our own dignity, we begin to generate an aura that the outside world perceives. This influences how others see and treat us, creating a positive cycle of mutual respect and appreciation for each individual's dignity. Know your worth. You might be thinking, oh, it's just another talk about self-love. But stick with me because here you won't hear about looking in the mirror and repeating how amazing you are. So, what does Stoicism have to do with knowing your worth in relationships? A lot, actually. The Stoics teach us that the main thing is to focus on what we can control, and that your self-esteem is 100% under your control. It's not about how many likes you get on Instagram, or if someone sends you a friend request on any other social network. It's about how you see and value yourself. Think of it this way. Imagine you are a precious stone. Not everyone knows the value of a rare gem, right? Some could pass by it without realizing what it is. But that doesn't change the value of the precious stone. It remains valuable, rare, and unique. That is your true reflection. That is you, genuine, unique, and valuable. Your worth doesn't diminish just because someone doesn't see it. Now let's be realistic. We've all faced rejection. At some point, we've experienced the feeling of not being good enough, especially in our hyper-connected world where it seems like everyone is living their best life. But here's where Stoicism comes in, to remind you that your worth is not tied to someone else's approval, but to how you live your life, your virtues, and your actions. Are you kind, honest, living in a way you are proud of? That's where your true worth lies. The Stoics were big on self-reflection. So, take a moment to think about your qualities, not just superficial things, but deeper values. What makes you feel good? Whether you are compassionate, resilient, or a great listener, these are qualities that form your worth. And here's the secret. When you truly know this deeply and genuinely, it will change how you interact in your relationships. You won't tolerate fools, not because you are arrogant, but because you respect yourself too much for that. And here's a little Stoic exercise for you. Next time you feel undervalued, instead of falling into a spiral of self-doubt, ask yourself, what are your strengths and values? It's not about becoming arrogant. It's about quietly recognizing that you are worthy without needing external validation. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic emperors, says that you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When we talk about relationships, we delve into a realm where recognizing our own worth becomes fundamental. It is important to understand that our worth is not solely determined by the external perception of others, but resides intrinsically in our own perception of ourselves. It is a daily reminder, a constant practice that invites us to cultivate and nurture our self-esteem and inner confidence every day. When we wake up, we have the opportunity to affirm our worth regardless of others' opinions or judgments. It's about reminding ourselves that we are valuable beings worthy of love and respect, not because someone else says so, but because we firmly believe in our inner being. This path towards self-knowledge and self-acceptance leads us to recognize that our worth is not dependent on external opinions, but comes from our own essence and authenticity. Each step on this journey of self-discovery brings us closer to understanding. Our true worth is a gradual and continuous process of personal growth, where we learn to recognize and appreciate our strengths, virtues, and unique qualities. As we delve into this inner journey, we discover that our worth is not subject to others' approval. Understanding that our worth is something we can cultivate and strengthen over time empowers us to take control of our lives and relationships. It frees us from the need to seek external validation and allows us to live from a place of unshakable self-esteem and confidence. Ultimately, it is about finding strength in our own worth, whether others recognize it or not, and reminding ourselves that we are worthy of love and respect simply for being who we are. Acting with boundaries is not about telling, it's about showing, and this principle applies perfectly. When we talk about setting boundaries, it's one thing to tell someone what your boundaries are, but it's another to actually demonstrate them through your actions. Think of it this way. Anyone can say they won't tolerate being mistreated, but the moment of truth comes when you actually face that situation. Do you stand firm in your boundaries or allow them to be ignored? That's where your true power lies. It's not in the saying, it's in the doing. Now, this might not be easy, especially when emotions are involved, but remember what our Stoic friends taught us. Everything is under our control, including the choice of how we react to situations. If someone crosses a line, it's your reaction that defines your boundaries, not your words. For example, if you have made it clear that you value honesty and someone lies to you, how you handle that situation speaks volumes. Walking away or addressing the issue directly and calmly shows that you take your boundaries seriously, not creating drama, just respecting yourself and being respected in a way that aligns with your values. This approach can be a game changer in relationships. When people see that you have boundaries you won't allow to be crossed, and also standards and values you are determined to uphold, they start to understand what you will accept and what you won't. It's about cultivating a sense of self-respect and sticking to it. And here's where it becomes truly stoic. It's not just about the big things, but also about the small, everyday boundaries. It's how you react when someone cancels plans at the last minute, or how you handle being taken for granted. You communicate through actions and calm words that this is not okay. The practice of mindfulness is much more than simply being present in the moment. It is about deeply immersing yourself in the experience of the here and now, attentively observing each thought, emotion, and action that arises within you. On this path of self-awareness, we invite ourselves to question and reflect on how our actions reflect our personal boundaries and core values. By being fully aware of the present moment, we give ourselves the opportunity to evaluate whether our actions are aligned with our boundaries and authenticity. It is a process of constant self-assessment where we ask ourselves if we are acting in accordance with our deepest principles and values, or if we are deviating from our true selves due to external pressures or social expectations. This practice leads us to closely examine each interaction and situation, seeking clues about how we are responding and whether we are being true to ourselves. It invites us to be witnesses of our own boundaries, to recognize when we feel uncomfortable or compromised, and to take steps to protect our integrity and emotional well-being in the small moments of everyday life. Where the true test of our boundaries lies is in these seemingly insignificant situations, where our true nature and the strength of our character are revealed. Therefore, the practice of mindfulness challenges us to be present in every moment, to be aware of how we are reacting to the various circumstances of life, and to cultivate greater clarity and discernment in our actions and decisions. As we move through our daily lives and interact with others, we can adopt a somewhat more stoic perspective in how we show and establish our personal boundaries. It is not simply about imposing strict rules or being inflexible in our interactions, but rather about cultivating this internal compass that guides us in how we act and react to different situations. This internal compass, inspired by Stoic principles, invites us to be aware of our own boundaries and values, and to act accordingly in every moment. It is not about closing ourselves off from the outside world or building walls around us, but about establishing healthy boundaries that reflect who we are and what we value in life. When we begin to live this way, the people around us notice. They start to perceive us as individuals who not only have clear boundaries, but also respect themselves enough to have them respected by others. It's as if we emit the message, "I will not compromise my principles for the convenience of others." This attitude not only allows us to build more authentic and respectful relationships, but also helps us cultivate a deeper sense of self-esteem and confidence in ourselves. By living according to our boundaries and values, we become a beacon of integrity and authenticity in a world often filled with uncertainty and confusion. Limiting access might sound a bit old-fashioned, maybe even a bit strict. But hear me out. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about respecting yourself and understanding your own worth. What does Stoicism say about this? Stoicism teaches us the art of self-discipline and control, but not in a rigid and inflexible way. It's about knowing what is truly valuable and not giving it away carelessly in a world of instant gratification. Think about relationships or when we are dating someone. There is often a rush to share everything, our time, our space, our deepest thoughts. But the Stoics would advise taking a step back because something that is easily available often loses its value. It's human nature. If you are always available at the drop of a hat, always saying yes to everything, where is the mystery, the depth, the anticipation? Now let's talk about how to limit access in a dignified and stoic way. First, it's about how you present yourself. Dress elegantly but modestly. It's not just about fashion, it's a statement of intent that says, I value myself. You are not hiding, but you are also not exposing too much. It's important to keep in mind that it's not about adopting a cynical or distrustful stance towards everyone around us, but rather about exercising an appropriate level of discernment and prudence to protect our heart and inner peace with a layer of stoic wisdom. This wisdom invites us not to let our emotions dictate our actions, but to stand firm in our principles and core values. It's about finding a healthy balance between heart and mind, between passion and reason. In that sense, it's essential to remember that we must observe people's actions, listen to their words. Adopting a stoic attitude in love means being rational, observant, and wise in our interactions and personal relationships. It's recognizing that at the end of the day, it's the concrete actions that truly reveal people's feelings and intentions, much more than mere words. Therefore, by committing to this philosophy of life, we empower ourselves to make more informed and conscious decisions in our relationships, based on a deep understanding of reality and an honest appreciation of ourselves and others. Be prepared to walk away. In Stoicism, there is this beautiful concept of detachment, not in a cold or insensitive way, but in the sense of understanding what we can and cannot control. And one of the most powerful things we can control is our decision to stay or leave a situation that is not right for us. Here we also refer to relationships. We all have been in that situation where everything in us says this is not what we deserve, but we stay. Perhaps it's the fear of being alone, the fear of change, or simply clinging to the hope that things will change, that they will get better. But here is the Stoic twist. The true power lies in recognizing that staying in a situation that compromises our values is within our control, and we can choose differently. This doesn't mean that at the first sign of trouble, you should abandon everything. Relationships require work, commitment, and patience. Mainly it's about knowing your worth so deeply that when something goes against them, you are ready to walk away. It's about having that inner strength, that stoic fortitude to say, I value myself enough to not accept less than I deserve. Being prepared to walk away is an act of self-assertion. It implies having the clarity and inner strength to recognize when a situation or relationship is not aligned with your core values and sense of dignity. But let me emphasize that this doesn't need to be a tumultuous process or filled with drama. Often it's a serene and conscious decision, a quiet understanding that you deserve something better. Dealing with the unknown can be intimidating, however. It is in these moments of challenge that we can remember the lessons of the Stoics, who urge us to embrace adversity with courage and accept that life is constantly changing. Recognizing that you have the courage to let go of what does not serve is like making room for new opportunities and experiences in your life. It's like clearing the path for personal growth and renewal. It's important to understand that you're not holding on to a situation out of need or fear. You're making the conscious decision to honor your own emotional well-being and happiness. By having the courage to let go of what no longer nourishes, you are taking a step forward towards a brighter and more fulfilling future. You are saying yes to yourself and to the possibilities that await beyond the known. Therefore, as we reflect on the idea of being prepared to walk away, let us remember that this act of courage and authenticity allows us to open ourselves to new opportunities and experiences in life. It reminds us that we deserve to live fully, and that we have the power to create the kind of life we desire. As we savor our coffee and let these reflections settle in our minds, let us remember that being prepared to walk away does not imply adopting a cold or distant attitude towards others. On the contrary, it's about manifesting self-love and a deep respect for ourselves, which empowers us to recognize and defend our own boundaries and needs. By saying, I deserve something better, we are not passing a derogatory judgment on others, but reaffirming our own worth and dignity. It's recognizing that we deserve relationships that respect us and propel us towards personal and emotional growth. By having the courage to walk away from what does not serve us, we are affirming our self-esteem and honoring our deepest needs. In this process of being ready to walk away, we also cultivate the ability to discern what we truly value in our relationships, allowing us to identify harmful patterns and make decisions aligned with our long-term well-being and happiness. Therefore, let us remember that being prepared to walk away is an act of self-love and an expression of our commitment to a full and authentic life. It's a constant reminder that we deserve to be treated with respect and consideration in all our interactions, and that we are willing to defend that right with determination and firmness. In Stoicism, there is a strong emphasis on personal integrity and the courage to stand up for your principles. This directly applies to our ability to say no in relationships. It's about knowing what you believe in and not being afraid to uphold your standards, even if it means rocking the boat. Imagine you're dating someone and they propose something that doesn't feel right to you. Maybe it's moving too fast or compromising your values in some way. The easy route would be to just go along with it. But this is where your inner stoic needs to step in and say no. This moment is about respecting yourself, your values, and your boundaries. I'm not saying this is easy, quite the opposite. It can be incredibly difficult. Especially when you like the person. There's always that voice in the back of your head that says, what if this pushes them away? But this is where we need to be brave. Stoicism teaches us about the courage not only to face external challenges, but also internal ones. Saying no isn't just about self-respect. It's about showing that you value yourself enough not to settle for less than you deserve. Certainly you could lose them, but here's the key. If saying no to something that goes against your values drives someone away, then maybe they weren't right for you. This approach can truly change the dynamics of a relationship. When someone sees that you're not afraid to say no, that you're not there just to please them at the expense of your own values, it changes their perspective. It shows that you are someone who respects themselves, someone who values themselves. And here's another Stoic twist. Rejecting something contrary to our values isn't just about setting boundaries with others. It's also about being honest with ourselves. It's about recognizing what you truly want and not wanting to compromise in a relationship. It's about not letting the fear of being alone lead you to make decisions that aren't right for you. Saying no, in reality, is an act of authenticity and self-assertion. It allows us to set healthy boundaries and remain true to our core values. It's a manifestation of living with integrity, as the Stoics taught us, reminding us of the importance of standing firm in our convictions and acting in coherence with our principles. When we say no, we are honoring our authentic needs and desires, instead of yielding to external expectations or demands from others. We are asserting ourselves and setting a precedent for relationships based on mutual respect and genuine understanding. It's crucial to clarify that saying no doesn't mean being selfish or insensitive to others, but rather a form of self-care and authenticity. By setting clear boundaries and expressing our needs honestly, we foster healthier and more meaningful relationships where both we and others are valued and respected for who we truly are. Therefore, let us remember that it's perfectly okay to say no. It's an expression of self-love and an important step towards building authentic and fulfilling relationships. By embracing our ability to say no when necessary, we position ourselves in a place of personal power and allow ourselves to live with integrity and authenticity in all our interactions. Skepticism and Stoicism go hand in hand. The Stoics try to see things as they really are, not as they are expected to be. In the world of love and dating, you may wonder if this is relevant. We all have heard someone say the words we want to hear, as if they were the right ones, and we want to believe them, ignoring the red flags waving in the background. This is where our inner Stoic comes into play. Having a healthy dose of skepticism is like having a superpower. It doesn't mean you're negative or cynical. It's about keeping your feet on the ground, not taking everything literally. It's about observing, questioning, and not rushing headlong without thinking a bit. Let's put it in context. Imagine this scenario. You meet someone and think they're great. They're saying all these wonderful things to each other, planning a future together. However, only a few weeks have passed since you met. Your Stoic side would say, go slow, don't rush. Let's see if their actions match their words and how things unfold. This skepticism isn't about bombarding the other person with questions or doubting their every move. It's more about being aware, listening to what they say, and also observing what they do. It's about taking the time to really get to know someone, to see if they are consistent, if they are genuine. The Stoics highly valued the use of logic and reason, not simply being carried away by emotions in relationships. This is crucial. It's true that finding the balance between our emotions and logic can be quite a challenge in relationships, however. By cultivating a bit of skepticism, we can give space to our rationality to assess situations more objectively and clearly. By maintaining a certain degree of skepticism, we don't get carried away by the emotional tide of the moment, but make decisions based on reality and our genuine needs. It allows us to discern between what is beneficial for us and what could pose a threat or obstacle to our emotional well-being. Additionally, skepticism provides us with the opportunity to protect our heart from potential disappointments or emotional harm. By not rushing into situations without having adequately evaluated the circumstances, we grant ourselves the necessary space to better understand the other person, their intentions, and their compatibility with our own needs and values. It's not simply about erecting barriers or walls around our heart, but about opening doors and discernment. By being a bit skeptical, we can remain alert and aware of our emotions, allowing us to explore new connections with a clear mind and a protected heart. Stoicism as a philosophy of life urges us to tune into the very essence of existence, to flow with the natural rhythms of the universe, and to embrace reality with serenity and acceptance. In the context of love, these teachings take on profound and transformative relevance. By adopting a Stoic perspective, we recognize that both ourselves and our loved ones are imperfect beings, subject to life's vicissitudes and human limitations. Instead of seeking perfection in the other or ourselves, we embrace imperfections as an integral part of the human experience, valuing authenticity over appearance, finding beauty in vulnerability and sincerity. By accepting these imperfections with compassion and understanding, we create space for mutual growth and genuine connection. The practice of acceptance and understanding provides us with the opportunity to cultivate solid and meaningful relationships where genuine connection and mutual support are fundamental pillars. Instead of fighting against reality or trying to shape others according to our desires, embracing imperfections is a way of living with authenticity and compassion. We learn to adapt and flow with the circumstances presented to us, finding a deep sense of peace and satisfaction in the present moment. By practicing acceptance, we recognize and embrace both our own imperfections and those of others. We accept that we are human beings with limitations and that it is natural to make mistakes and face challenges in our relationships. Instead of judging ourselves or others, we allow ourselves to be compassionate and understanding, recognizing that we are all doing the best we can with the tools and resources we have at any given moment. Understanding invites us to put ourselves in the place of others, to empathize with their experiences and struggles. We recognize that each individual has their own story, their own wounds, and their own motivations, and we strive to understand their perspective with compassion and empathy. By doing so, we strengthen the bonds of connection and trust in our relationships, fostering an environment of mutual support and unconditional understanding. Ultimately, the practice of acceptance and understanding allows us to cultivate more authentic and meaningful relationships where love and connection naturally flourish in an environment of mutual acceptance and respect. By learning to flow with circumstances and embrace reality as it is, we find a deep satisfaction and fulfillment in our relationships, allowing love to flourish in all its splendor. By honoring and celebrating our shared humanity, we embrace the richness of our interpersonal connections and recognize our deep interconnectedness with all beings. This approach invites us to cultivate a loving and compassionate love that goes beyond the boundaries of the ego and embraces the diversity and uniqueness of each individual. By recognizing that we are all navigating the journey of life together, we become allies and travel companions for those who cross our path, committing to support each other through the highs and lows of existence, both in moments of joy and celebration, and in challenges and difficulties with equanimity and empathy. This type of love knows no borders or limits, as it transcends the barriers of difference and separation. We unite in the shared experience of humanity, recognizing our unity and diversity, and finding a deep sense of connection and belonging in our interaction with others. By embracing this loving and compassionate love, we nurture deeply meaningful and enriching relationships that provide support, comfort, and joy in our journey through life. Instead of focusing on ourselves, we direct our attention to others, offering our loving and understanding presence as a beacon of hope and comfort in a world often turbulent and chaotic. In summary, Stoicism invites us to embrace reality as it is, finding beauty and meaning in every experience, including loving relationships. By practicing acceptance, understanding, and compassion, we cultivate authentic and deeply satisfying relationships rooted in genuine connection and unconditional mutual support. Never chase. This wonderfully relates to everything we've discussed, especially when we look through our Stoic lens. In Stoicism, there is a strong emphasis on focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what is not. This philosophy is incredibly powerful when applied to relationships. It's about understanding that chasing someone who is pulling away is not only useless, but also not aligned with self-respect and our own value. Imagine this scenario. You're dating someone and things seem to be going well, but then they start to distance themselves. We've all gone through similar situations and wanted to chase to try to close that gap. But here is where our Stoic teachings come in. The Stoics would say, wait, why are you chasing what is not under your control? What about your dignity, your self-respect, and your peace of mind? Chasing someone who is pulling away is like trying to catch water without it slipping through your fingers. It's ineffective and leaves you feeling empty. However, here is the key. When you have the courage to let go of what doesn't serve, you are making room for something better. It's like clearing the clutter to make way for freshness. While it can be challenging to walk away from what doesn't nourish you, it is an act of self-love and authenticity. The Stoic approach is to stand firm in our own worth. If someone is pulling away, let them go. It's not about being cold or insensitive. It's about recognizing that you cannot control how someone else feels or what they do. You can only control how you respond. Now, let's be honest, this is not easy. It requires a lot of strength not to chase, not to give in to that impulse. But it's about trusting that if someone really wants to be with you, they will be. When you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, on your own life, incredible things happen. You attract people who are drawn to that strength and confidence you radiate. It's like you're sending a signal that says, I am worth it. Let's be Stoic in our approach to relationships, respecting ourselves and focusing on what we can control. It's about finding peace within ourselves, not validation from someone else. You have the power to choose how to react to the world around you. Remember that you are the architect of your own dignity, the guardian of your self-esteem. Embrace that power. Let your actions, your choices, and your boundaries speak of the incredible person you are. These are some of the ways you can show your worth and recognize that of others by following Stoic advice through actions, not words. Remember that courage is not something that is said, but something that is demonstrated with actions. I hope this topic has illuminated your path. If so, don't wait any longer and delve deeper into your own being, into what you are experiencing. Remember that you are not alone on this journey. Share your experience in the comments and, if appropriate, give us a like and subscribe to the channel to continue growing and learning together in the flavor of Stoicism. Unconditional love. Unconditional love is a fundamental concept in Stoic philosophy that goes beyond simply loving others without expecting anything in return. It involves recognizing and valuing the intrinsic worth of each human being, regardless of their actions, achievements, or circumstances. By practicing unconditional love for ourselves, we commit to accepting and valuing ourselves as we are, with our virtues and flaws. This involves cultivating a relationship of compassion and acceptance with ourselves, freeing ourselves from excessive self-criticism and negative judgment. Additionally, unconditional love for others involves going beyond merely showing empathy and compassion for their experiences and struggles. It's also about accepting people as they are, without trying to change or judge them for their actions or decisions. Being present for others in their moments of need involves much more than simply offering a shoulder to cry on. It involves cultivating a genuine and deep connection with those around us, meaning being willing to actively listen, understand their concerns and fears, and offer the necessary support, even when it means stepping out of our comfort zone. By practicing this type of unconditional support, we are not only demonstrating our empathy and compassion for others, but we are also strengthening our own relationships. When we commit to being present for others in their moments of need, we are building lasting bonds based on mutual respect and trust. It's important to remember that unconditional support is not limited to moments of crisis. It also involves being there to celebrate others' triumphs and achievements, sharing their joy, and celebrating their successes. It's a weapon of solidarity and camaraderie that further strengthens our bonds with those around us. A key practice of unconditional love is learning to forgive and let go of resentment or bitterness toward those who have hurt or disappointed us. This involves recognizing our own humanity and that of others, understanding that we all make mistakes and face challenges in life. Forgiving does not mean justifying others' actions or ignoring the harm they caused us, but rather freeing ourselves from the emotional weight we carry by holding on to resentment, allowing us to move forward with compassion and inner peace. By practicing unconditional love and forgiveness, we are not only strengthening our relationships with others, but we are also growing and evolving as individuals. When we choose to forgive and love unconditionally, we are opting to free ourselves from the weight of resentment and bitterness, opening ourselves to the possibility of significant personal growth. Unconditional love invites us to accept others as they are, with all their imperfections and flaws, recognizing their intrinsic worth as human beings. It challenges us to show compassion and empathy for them, even when they have hurt or disappointed us, and to remain open to the possibility of reconciliation and deeper understanding. Additionally, forgiveness allows us to free ourselves from the past and move forward with greater clarity and inner peace. By letting go of resentment and rancor, we make room for personal growth and emotional healing, allowing us to close painful chapters and open ourselves to new experiences and opportunities for genuine love and connection. In summary, practicing unconditional love and forgiveness allows us to build healthier and more meaningful relationships based on mutual acceptance, respect, and personal growth. It offers us the opportunity to experience a deeper and enriching connection with ourselves and others, and to live a more fulfilling and satisfying life. Do not center your life entirely on another person. In today's society, we often fall into the trap of placing others on a pedestal, losing our own direction. In love, by managing your own path, you will see how you become more valuable. No one can harm you without your consent. Do not allow others to control you. This powerful quote serves as a reminder that ultimately we are the guardians of our inner peace and emotional well-being. In a world where critical opinions and judgments from others can be pervasive, it is essential to understand that we have the power to choose how they affect us. Being the masters of our minds and emotions is a call to self-reflection and authenticity, to be who we are without fear of external judgment. When we internalize this principle, we become the architects of our own destiny, and our self-esteem and self-respect flourish, which makes us more valuable and important to others. Therefore, when facing challenges and criticisms in our lives, let us remember this powerful truth from Marcus Aurelius: no one can harm you without your consent. This powerful quote serves as a reminder that ultimately, we are the guardians of our inner peace and emotional well-being. In a world where critical opinions and judgments from others can be pervasive, it is essential to understand that we have the power to choose how they affect us. Being the masters of our minds and emotions is a call to self-reflection and authenticity, to be who we are without fear of external judgment. When we internalize this principle, we become the architects of our own destiny, and our self-esteem and self-respect flourish, which makes us more valuable and important to others. Therefore, when facing challenges and criticisms in our lives, let us remember this powerful truth from Marcus Aurelius: no one can harm you without your consent. Letting others initiate conversations in a world where constant communication is the norm might seem challenging, but it has its roots in Stoic wisdom. Philosophers like Epicurus reminded us of the importance of listening more than speaking, allowing others to initiate conversations. By letting others start the conversation, we learn more about them and about ourselves. Always being ready to speak may come off as eager and sometimes self-centered, which often drives people away. The patience and willingness to let others initiate conversations align with building genuine and high-value relationships. This approach, centered on applying Stoic principles in daily life, is a powerful tool for personal growth and strengthening authentic and meaningful relationships. By incorporating concepts like creating a fear of loss, practicing patience, moderating availability, cultivating independence, and letting others initiate interactions, you position yourself for a more balanced and authentic life. Stoicism as a philosophy of life not only influences how we relate to others, but also drives a radical change in how we perceive ourselves internally. By adopting and applying these principles, we embark on an introspective journey that leads us to discover serenity amidst turmoil, to make more conscious and deliberate decisions, and to face challenges with a mental strength that makes us unbreakable. The essence of Stoicism lies not only in how we relate to the external world, but in how we forge an intrinsic connection with our own essence. By following these precepts, we not only learn to cope with external circumstances, but also enter an internal path of self-knowledge and self-mastery. These principles become an internal compass that guides our decision-making, teaching us to find balance amidst chaos, to face uncertainty with calmness, and to cultivate the mental resilience necessary to overcome diversity in a meaningful and profound way. Ultimately, Stoicism translates into an internal transformation that not only shapes our external relationships, but also revolutionizes our understanding and perception of ourselves, allowing us to live a fuller, more authentic life with a deeper purpose. Living according to our values is a central practice in Stoicism that can profoundly impact our relationships. This philosophy reminds us of the importance of staying true to what we consider right and just, even in the context of an intimate relationship. When we apply this concept to our romantic relationships, it means ensuring that the relationship aligns with our deepest values and principles. This involves reflecting on what those values are for us and how they manifest in our daily life and relationship. For example, if we value trust, then it is fundamental that our relationship is based on transparency and open communication. Similarly, if we value mutual respect and equality, we must ensure that our interactions with our partner reflect those principles. Making decisions based on our values also means being true to ourselves, even when facing challenges or external pressures in the relationship. It may involve making difficult decisions, like setting healthy boundaries or ending a relationship that does not meet our ethical standards. When we commit to living according to our values in a romantic relationship, we are establishing the foundations for a meaningful and lasting connection. This commitment not only strengthens our personal integrity, but also contributes to cultivating an environment of trust, respect, and mutual growth in the relationship. Aligning our actions and decisions with our values allows us to act in a manner consistent with what we consider important in life and in our interactions with our partner. For example, if we value loyalty, we will strive to be faithful and reliable in our relationship. If we value generosity, we will look for ways to support and care for our partner selflessly. This congruence between our values and actions creates a sense of authenticity and sincerity in the relationship. Our partner perceives that we are people of integrity and trustworthiness, which strengthens the bond of trust between us. Moreover, by acting in accordance with our values, we inspire our partner to do the same, fostering mutual growth and greater understanding between both. Furthermore, living according to our values helps us overcome the challenges and conflicts that may arise in the relationship. When faced with difficult situations, we can turn to our values as a guide to make ethical and constructive decisions. This allows us to resolve problems in a respectful and constructive manner, rather than compromising our principles or acting impulsively. Ultimately, living according to our values in a romantic relationship not only promotes our own happiness and well-being, but also enriches the connection with our partner by building together on a foundation of integrity and mutual respect. we can create a strong and satisfying relationship that endures over time. Practicing virtue in a romantic relationship involves much more than simply acting with honesty, loyalty, compassion, and respect toward our partner. It's about committing to being the best versions of ourselves in every aspect of our shared life. Virtue invites us to deepen honesty, which goes beyond transparency and communication. It means being authentic in our interactions, showing ourselves as we are, with our strengths and areas for improvement. By doing so, we foster an environment of mutual trust, where both can grow and develop freely. Loyalty in a virtuous relationship not only implies emotional and physical fidelity, but also a lasting commitment to support and be present for our partner in all circumstances. It's about being there in difficult times, offering a shoulder to lean on and a hand to help overcome challenges together. Compassion, as part of virtue, calls us to put ourselves in the place of our partner, to understand their perspectives and be empathetic with their experiences and emotions. It's about being willing to offer comfort and support when needed and to celebrate their joys as if they were our own. In a relationship based on mutual respect and virtue, an environment of trust and mutual support is promoted. This means not only recognizing the value of our partner as an individual, but also fostering their personal and professional growth, actively listening to their opinions and concerns, seeking to understand their point of view, and collaborating in decision-making that benefits both. Allow others to invest in you. This is recognizing your uniqueness and worth. It's not just about your mere presence in someone's life, but about becoming a significant and essential element in another person's world. This recognition involves understanding that what is easily obtained tends to be overlooked or undervalued. Authentic appreciation arises from effort and dedication. When someone invests their time, emotions, and energy into your life, a stronger and more lasting bond is created. This process transforms your role from being a mere passing presence or curiosity to becoming a genuinely appreciated presence. It's not about desperately seeking others' attention or love, but about demonstrating that you are a valuable and enriching contribution to their lives, deserving of genuine and authentic interest. Allowing others to invest in you involves giving them the opportunity to make your presence an invaluable aspect of their lives, something they wouldn't want to lose. The words of the Stoic philosopher Cecca resonate in this idea. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. This underscores the essence of your value not only in being, but in being sought and fought for. Reflecting on the story of Alexander the Great and his master Aristotle, illustrates how the value of valuable teachings and the relationship between master and student transcend the conventional. Aristotle, a wise philosopher, was not just a tutor in the young prince's life, but presented himself as a beacon of knowledge and strategic thought, essential for ruling an empire. Alexander, known for his ambition and intellect, understood the value of Aristotle's lessons and dedicated considerable time and effort to learning from him. In summary, practicing virtue and allowing others to invest in you are central practices that enrich our relationships, strengthening bonds based on integrity, mutual respect, and joint growth, leading to authentic and deeply satisfying relationships. In conclusion, my friends, as you embark on this journey to the heart of Stoicism, remember that being the rock in the storm is not about avoiding challenges, but about facing them with the unwavering strength that resides within you. Let these Stoic secrets guide you to a life of self-focus, resilience, and the profound joy that comes from mastering your own mind. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "It takes very little to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." I sincerely hope this message has been helpful. I want to sincerely congratulate you for making it this far and completing the video. It means you wish to improve as a person. If you enjoyed the video, leave your comment. If you don't know what to comment, comment gratitude, so I'll know you watched till the end. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and join us. Stoicism is full of teachings like this, which are applicable to our daily lives. Therefore, I encourage you to continue learning about this philosophy. Here I leave 2 videos full of Stoic wisdom for you to continue learning. Until next time.